Who are you?
I'm DJ Premier.
DJ Premier, welcome to Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Thanks for having me.
DJ Premier, right off the bat, how many times have you sampled James Brown?
Many times.
And I was thinking you probably have quite a few James Brown records, don't you?
Quite a few is a little small. Quite a lot.
So I thought to welcome you to Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, I would give you a James Brown poster.
Oh, all right.
Did you ever see James Brown perform at the Rhode Island Auditorium?
Not at the Rhode Island Auditorium, but I saw him when I was 5 years old, and I didn't know that men could do the split until I saw him do it. So I didn't try it because I didn't want my privates to get hurt, but gotta love James Brown.
DJ Premier, was Captain Sky the first rap song that you ever heard? Super Sporm.
No, this is not the first rap record I ever heard. King Tim III was the first record I ever heard, and then even James Brown, just talking through the groove and then singing later on after 7, 8, 9 minutes into a song. But this is one of the greatest records of hip hop, and it's not a rap; it's an actual, singing record. But this is one of the illest classic breaks ever, and you have it on 45. Can I have this too?
I'm not sure about that one there, but DJ Premier, I was wondering, did you ever go after bootleggers like M.O.P.?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
With baseball bats?
Just...
Have you seen that footage of M.O.P. going after bootleggers with baseball bats?
I've been in brawls with M.O.P. too, so quite a few fist fights with M.O.P. I've been in, and luckily I still look pretty ugly. But other than that, I used to have that type of temperament as well, but at the same time, you also felt good that your stuff was bootleg. That meant it was popular, and they had every one of our albums.
These guys, Maze. What can you tell people about Maze?
In Texas, where I'm originally from, if you say anything bad about Maze and Frankie Beverly, your ass is getting kicked, and I will be one of them to kick it. These are one of the ultimate soul groups of any era, and shout to Frankie Beverly, who has one of the most illest voices ever. He was one of the first people I ever saw on stage with had so much hair on his chest it looked like he had an afro on his chest. So and he could sing, and he always wore that same exact baseball hat. He must have a million of copies of them because they were all the same style. So it was like a half baseball, half golf, half Frankie Beverly hat.
DJ Premier, what does this record right here mean to you?
All I can say is I love this record.
Mass appeal?
Love this record.
Because hip-hop heads were really looking hard for connections between Gang Starr and Vic Juris.
I hear you, and I love this record. That's all I can say. I love this record.
Did you really see Suge and Ice Cube fight?
I saw Ice Cube coming out when it was a Gang Starr show. Backstage, it was with WC in the Mad Circle. Master Ace was just joining our management team, so we said, come with us to L.A. The first day I ever met MC8, he had 2 beepers on his hip. I was like, wow, I've never seen people with somebody wear 2 pages on his hips. And we got cool, and that's how I met Compton's Most Wanted and their crew. Cube had just left NWA. We knew there was tension, but we didn't know what degree, because it was our first time going to Cali and experiencing that level of the game and all that. And, Suge was down with Eazy-E at the time as far as however they were rolling. So Eazy-E was not there. I met Ren. I was excited just to see all the NWA members, and we're about to go on stage, and we had an intro, and we're standing by the door, and JJ Fad standing by me. I'm like, oh shit, JJ Fad, and just excited just to be there. And all of a sudden I see a ruckus, and I just see, Cube's throwing his fists. He wasn't punking out at all. Shout to Ice Cube, shout to the whole crew. And all you just saw was just the whole bing, 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 bing back and forth. No one got knocked out. No one got beat up. But there was from what I can remember, I saw Suge somewhere in that vicinity. You know what I'm saying? But no one came out unconscious.
What can you tell the people about Jazz-O, especially the early Jazz-O with Jay-Z?
This is actually the album that actually brought Jay-Z to the forefront with Originators, because Jazz-O was one of the first ones on the East Coast doing the fast tongue rolling things, tongue rolling style real fast. And that's, we knew Jay-Z from when Hawaiian Sophie came out, and we knew Jay just from being on the block and everything when we see him at Mars and the Milky Way, the Payday, all the hip-hop clubs underground back in that era. And he'd come in with the big dookies.
You can see him on the back there, actually.
Yeah. Yep, and he'd have that chain on, too. And we all used to wear these hats. Where we used to call it the bell hat. I had one. Shout out to Vic Black. We used to rock those heavy. They had just come out, so whatever flavor was popping, we'd get it. But Jay always had the heavy chains. Every time I saw him, he always had the rings and everything. So he looked healthy and paid back then. So whether he was or not, he had the right appearance. And it's the first time I heard him rhyme, besides just doing the ad libs on Hawaiian Soul Feed, to see him really spit. And we saw him do it live. So they showed that they were beyond, another level of the game.
How did they work together live? What was it like, the dynamic?
Jay used to be more, just the hype man or whatever and just do his part. But he let Jazzo do his thing. But still, he always made sure Jay got some shine.
DJ Premier, you love the ladies, don't you?
Yeah, just like LL.
This is kind of an overload here, but I thought I would ask you, since you're an amazing producer and a hip-hop historian, what can you tell the people about all these records that I put out here? First off,
this is family on top of family. This
Lady of Rage.
Yes, one of the only sister of Death Row besides, shout out to Jewel and all of them and everybody else that was part of the Death Row family. But as far as them seeing and really commanding the stage and being a lyrical murderer, Rage, man, she's still the bomb. We're working together now, and big shout out to her and her kids, her family. She's a real G. And she will whip your ass if you front on her.
She did security at one time, didn't she?
Yeah, at the Palladium. That's the day she told me that she just signed to Death Row and it was a new label. And she and I like to play fight a lot. I'm talking about, but like really aggressive, because she's really that strong. And let's put it this way: I've seen her hem up guys in the Death Row camp. I'm not I'll remain nameless, where they couldn't even get out of her grasp, and me and her would go at it the same way. She's seen me also get into fights and beef and stand my ground as a man and respect, and she don't play, and she's really strong, but I can always get that last little crack to get her off me. But you don't want to bully with her. She gets it in, and she is straight.
Lady of Rage, and then we have Extra Extra.
Oh, shout out to Paula Perry, man. Shout out to the original INC, which is Master Ace's crew, the INC, and shout out to Paula Perry, one of my favorite records I've ever produced.
And DJ Premier, underneath we have Boss.
Oh, shout out to Boss, man. A mixer that never came out, Deeper remix.
Recipe of a Hoe.
Yeah, Boss was a problem, man. The first time I met her, she walked in with 2 big 40 ounces of OE, which was my drink of choice at the time, and blue Dickies and a Scully pull low and our Lokes. And she's like, yeah, what up? And I was like, oh, you ready to record? And we did our thing, and she just recut the vocals to my beat. It didn't get used, but shout out to Boss. She definitely made an impact in hip-hop, and I don't remember if she brought that gun, but she was definitely raw.
Do you ever sample 8 tracks at all? Like, here's The Last Poet.
I'm looking for an 8-track machine right now, because I'm going to start collecting them, because we have stores of people in New York that carry hip-hop 8-tracks, and I want to collect, like, old stuff like this, like, what was this? Oh, yeah, The Madness, Last Poets. Blondie, wow, the Auto American.
Now, that's Rapture on there. Is that the first rap 8-track? That's 1980. Were there rap 8-tracks you've seen before then?
No, I saw this before I would see any rap 8-tracks. I can't even think what that rap 8-track I've seen. I was into Parliament and Bootsy back then and things like that. And Isaac Hayes and.
Do you acknowledge Rapture as the first sort of rap song sung by a female that kind of had mainstream success?
Kind of in the mainstream era of it, because she wasn't really saying nothing in the rhyme, but she said Fat Five Freddy, and back then Fat Five Freddy was well respected. He still is well respected in the game, but back then he was known for graffiti and art and just being around the early parts of hip hop. And then he did Change the Beat, which everybody knows and this Fresh is from that record. So he's legendary with that. Shout out to Celluloid Records for putting that record out. It's very, very classic.
Rodney O.
Cooley. This is one of my favorite DJs, Joe Cooley. He's the first DJ that I learned the concept of DJs in LA. DJs in LA play everything fast, because I went to college with LA DJs, and they say, man, all of y'all New York dudes, y'all always put it on +2 and 0. We put ours on +8 and battle everybody. And that's with him, Dre, Dr. Dre. I saw Dr. Dre spin in my school, all of this in 1984. And they came down and performed too, and I saw Joe Cooley at Soundcheck just doing all these crazy routines, and this is way before Serato and computers, and he's one of the illest ever to get on the wheels.
And their look
to ever battle in New York too at the New Music Seminar.
And their look too is incredible, isn't it?
Finger waves. Well, being up from the South, finger waves and all that, and Jerry curls and You know, that whole thing was normal where we're from. It wasn't that big in New York at the time, but Texas and southern region, West Coast is very country in reality, and those are hairstyles.
Check this out. Do you remember the Rat Pack? What can you tell people about this?
Dude, I remember these. I actually got them right for Christmas, and I gave one to my sister before they had kids, and both of my sisters before they had kids. And I remember I was like, why would they take a picture of us from a video interview and freeze it? That's from an interview that we did when we did our first press kit for EMI, and when we were on Chrysalis, and so they got the picture of me from.
And underneath it, there's another one here.
Okay, yep, and that's the 183rd Street in the Bronx, where I met Panchi from the NYGs, and I also met Malachi the Nutcracker, Smiley the Ghetto Child, and that's how we became put together with the Gangstar Foundation, and that's how this all came about.
How come he's in the Rat Pack, Gerardo?
Hey man, Rico Suave, who doesn't know that record in hip hop? And then he became an executive at Interscope, which led him to start signing Enrique Iglesias and people like that, and that's big money. So he's actually sitting good, or like we used to say back then, sitting fat, even though you don't see him like that anymore.
Right beside Gangstar and Harmony.
Yeah, back then, I mean, it was official. So he was rhyming, and he really is street. He's from the streets. He knows the hood. So you got to give it up to him. Gerardo knows his stuff.
Well, thanks so much, DJ Premier. Keep on rocking in the free world, and do.
This guy is nuts. Gotta love Nardwuar.